Hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for stopping by to see what's next. Today I'm going to make some dog treats for obviously my two dogs, and I am going to try to copy some dog treats that I got at Sam's Club recently, which we are almost out of, and they're just sweet potato fries. And so I looked at the ingredients, sweet potatoes, and they're just dehydrated. My not toaster oven. My air fryer has a dehydrate function on it, so I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to cut just little rounds and dehydrate them up and see how that goes. Now, I did request yams, but I got sweet potatoes. I am hoping that these are okay for dogs. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I'll go on and do some research, but I'm pretty sure these sweet potatoes are going to be just fine. So the recipe does, I did look it up. There's a recipe, sweet potatoes, but it does say to make 1/4 inch rounds. So that is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to keep them relatively thin, and I'm leaving the skin on because the skin was on when I purchased them. The ones that we purchased were not rounds. Hi, Sky. What are you doing? I have one of my dogs in here right now. And so I'm going to just do these thin. And the dehydrator is dehydrating. And we'll see how these look in about, I don't know, 8 hours or so, which is going to be about 11 p.m. So that kind of sucks. But maybe I'll just start with one. Who knows? Who am I kidding? I'll do all of them, right? If you're going to jump all in. Okay. So these, now it's fall too, so which is nice because all these potatoes are going to be in season. Not that they're not always, because I feel like they always are, but there will be an abundance. So you can see right here, I'm just putting a single layer down. This one potato is going to actually cover probably 2 of the 3 pans. So, and that's all that's going to fit in the oven. All right. I'll show you the strips that these ones came, and I might not be able to see it, but hi Stella. They hear the treat bag out and they're here. So right here you can see that is the skin, and then when I turn it over, you might not be able to see, but anyways, that's actually, that is just all sweet potato. On this one here, you can actually see the skin on one side and the sweet potato on the other. Here, you want that? Yeah? Okay. Come here, Sky. Sky, where are you? Here, lovey. You want that? Yes, a good girl. So the dogs, again, super simple, healthy treat for them, which I like because I don't worry about them getting too many. Not that we feed them this as their whole meal, but this is not one that I'm particularly worried about. I do try to avoid treats that have chicken ingredients in them. I think I had mentioned on another video, probably the dog food video actually, that I will link below, that they don't do so well with chicken and their skin. They have like skin sensitivities with that. So I don't feed them chicken anymore, and we stick to primarily turkey, which may actually be an issue, and beef and salmon, and also whiting fish, which is a new one for me. But Smart and Final, who I have been going to for the last couple of years to buy fish for their dog food, has stopped selling salmon in that big 5-pound box. And they came out with some other fish called whiting, which I've never heard of until this, until making dog food. And so hopefully, that's not going to be an issue for their poor little sensitive skin. I have noticed recently they have been having some sensitivities with their skin, and I think more of that has to do with the pine tree in the backyard. So we do have a pine tree, and they like to lay outside. That is great, and I'm happy that they can do that. But with that pine tree, the sap drops onto the ground, and then they lay on it, and it gets into their fur, which I would say would be a non-issue. But once that sap touches their skin, it gets so irritated. It looks like they have welts everywhere, and it's just unfortunate. It's, they got sensitive skin. So this tray is going to be able to hold a little bit more. Hopefully we can get this whole potato. And again, I'm trying to do them thin so that they can dehydrate faster. I don't want to be up until 1 o'clock in the morning, and I don't want to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So the dehydrator temperature is set at 180 degrees. Again, haven't done this yet. I have read different instructions, I'll call them, instead of recipes, but where some say dehydrate at 150 and some say dehydrate at 200. We'll see what works. If they need to dehydrate longer, obviously I will allow that. I'm not going to give them uncooked potatoes. But we shall see what works out, and hopefully, if this is easy enough, I'd much prefer to, there's something in my eye. I'd much prefer to make these treats than buy them. This bag was $20. These 3 potatoes were probably $5. So, I do have to put them in the dehydrator and cut them, but I could also save $15 on them and also make more. So there's some benefits and drawbacks, just like anything else. It looks like we'll be able to do 2 potatoes. And again, these are for the dogs. They don't need to be perfect. We shall see how these do. I have more treat recipes coming up because I'm trying to just make everything from scratch. Not because I have to, but because I think I'm just more interested in it. If I know what they're eating, then it's kind of like with humans. Know what you're putting in your body. It's kind of how I feel about the dogs right now. Know what's going in them. Okay. And I only changed the way I'm cutting because that was hurting my finger. All right. Those are probably about a half. Some of these are a little thick, but it's going to be fine. This is like worthy of almost a whole nother tray. Okay. Now, some of the thicker ones will dehydrate into more of a chewy consistency, which I'm totally okay with, and so are the girls. It is what it is. I'm not particularly worried about something like that. These are starting to get brown. Okay. So we'll add these little guys in. Let's turn that one, scoot that one, go there. I'm doing exactly what they say not to. Mine are starting to overlap just a little bit. Okay. All right, so these are all ready to go into the dehydrator. I'll see you back when we check in. Okay, I just got back from a walk with the dogs, and the house smells so good. They are looking good. They're definitely dehydrating. I don't know that they're fully done. They're still almost a little bit leathery, but let me take some out and show you. Okay. is what they're looking like right now. Ooh, you can't see that. And when I pick it up, you can see it's pretty pliable, right? They're not quite done. I can still feel moisture, but what I am going to do is I'm going to flip them over. It has been almost 4 hours. So I'm going to flip them over and then I guess let them sit in the dehydrator for another 4 hours or so. And see, this is a thicker one and it's not given so much. And then I'll let them stay in there for a little bit more time. A little bit, when I say a little bit, I mean 4 hours. And then hopefully they'll be done. So far so decent. We'll see how they turn out. Okay, it has been just about 6 hours and this is how things are looking. I have flipped them twice and this top rack here, the temperature is less than 200, so it's actually not burning. But this top rack here is seemingly doing the best. This is the second potato that I cut and it's looking good. It's pliable for sure. The edges are a little crispy and that is working its way through dehydrating. This situation down here, there's little pieces like this that are definitely crispy. And this potato, I don't actually know what was wrong with it. I think it's gonna be fine, but here, this is mostly crispy. And there's little pieces in this that are crispy. So this is done, but what am I supposed to do? Pull pieces out. You can see here, this is one of the ones that was not cut even, and that's probably about a 1/2 inch there. And then super thin on this edge. So this edge is crispy, but this here is pliable and could still use some time in the dehydrating sitting. And then the lowest rack, I thought I was gonna burn my finger off. Okay, this is what the lowest one looks like. And again, there are some little pieces, like this guy right here is basically a potato chip. And you could hear that. This potato chip, I might actually go through, that's a potato chip. I think I'm gonna go through and pull some of these out. But anyways, that's how it's looking after about 6 hours. So overall, this is super low maintenance. You can see they completely shrink down, which is something to note for next time. And yeah, I don't really have to do much except buy potatoes and slice them. Would I do rings again? Maybe, maybe not. But they're working. Okay, the time is 10:53 p.m., which means it is time for me to take a shower and get in bed. I have work tomorrow morning that I need to be at 6:30. So what I have done, this is most of what I cut. There is some more that is still dehydrating that were a little bit thicker pieces that are just a little gummy or leathery still that I want to harden just a little bit. I also took that last potato, the biggest one, I don't know. I'm like, it was this big. It wasn't this big, but it was a big potato. And that one potato filled up 2 more shelves. So what I did with this, because the ones that I cooked directly on the cookie sheets or the little baking sheets, I had to flip them over. The ones that I put directly into the air fry basket, I didn't have to, and they also dehydrated beautifully. So what I did was I cut bigger pieces of the big potato and I put them directly onto the oven racks. So we will see tomorrow morning when I wake up what those look like. And hopefully we don't set fire to the house with a dehydrator and a bunch of sweet potatoes. But we'll see what it looks like in the morning. I am about to go to bed, but I did just see this glowing in the kitchen because I have the light on and I thought it looked really cool. But here you can see the slices of potato are bigger on these ones sitting directly on the racks. So kind of cool. Okay, good morning. It is 6:05. Last night before I went to bed, I decided to cut that last potato. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. Cut this one in strips, put it right on the racks. Woke up today, it looks beautiful. These ones did way better than the rings, so I'm happy about that. Let me pull them out and transfer them over, and then the treats are all done. So you can see here, these ones came out beautifully. And tray number 2, I should say rack number 2. And here's the basket. And this was the basket that had some of the leftover rings. I left those on because once I added the new ones, it created a bunch of moisture. I figured I'll just let them sit in there. This is crunchy, but the dogs will be fine with it. So that is it for our dog treats. Happy about this little experiment. Again, I don't even think this was $5 worth of potatoes. And I got a whole tray of dog treats from it. Now, I am going to leave them out because if there is still moisture, I don't want them to go bad. So I'm going to leave them out and let them dry just a little bit. But overall, they look good. Thanks for stopping by to see what's next. Come back again. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Help us out. More dog stuff to come. More kitchen stuff to come. I'll see you next time.